Life Hacks Beyond Convention with Dee and Sonia.
And they're going to make rules about it's all about the facade and street view or street appeal. Yes. And this is once again coming from city planners saying it has to look, nice according to them. But when you're on acreage out in the country, it doesn't.
I don't know. I even think in the city, I think it's pretty sucky when you're not allowed to put up the fence that you want or paint the house the colour that you want. It doesn't matter if it's a gaudy pink, if that's what you like. I just think, well, get a life, folk. Don't look at that house.
It's Karen over the road that faces the house that's the problem. You know what I mean? The Karens. At least we don't have so many, what are they called? Housing associations in Australia. They do exist, but not as much. But, I think that we should be building passive solar and all facing our big windows and our living areas towards the north. But that doesn't, if your street's the wrong way around, you can't. So, So if I was going to build and that was facing slightly the wrong way, I'd just volunteer to have the end wall look like a house, even if it's the carport sort of thing. So,
Yeah, and you can tell if your house is north-south facing, it really is much more efficient than the other way.
Hugely.
Because you get the beautiful winter sun, but so long as you've done your veranda the right angle, it's just lovely. You can hear the cat.
Yes, I could earlier too.
Us again.
I worked out we needed, if we were to build we wanted to build a whole house in straw bale and passive solar, but we couldn't find the land. So we ended up buying an existing house which faced the wrong way. And we've built the straw bale extension with one big window, which is what I'm facing now. And it's just lovely. But, I'd worked out the angle of the roof and the 1.2, it needed to be 1.2 metre eaves over the thing to, So we went deep
so you
on that
block out
one.
that summer sun, but you get the winter sun, which is just lovely.
And have tiles or a solid floor in the first couple of metres from that window too. So you've got a heat bank floor, so it heats it up. So lots of study and diving down rabbit holes for years to end up not being able to do it. Maybe in another lifetime.
I remember seeing this documentary. This is years and years ago, but where they had, to heat and cool their house, they'd done tunnels underground and bringing the air through into the house because, of course, so they must have been circulating the air out of the house through the underground tunnels and then back into the house. And that
sometimes
heated and cooled,
what they often do is because under the ground is stable at about 21 degrees in most of Australia if you go deep enough, and it's just so you can cool. You run the air a different way. In winter you run it through to warm it up, and in summer you run it through differently to cool it down. And it's knowing your ventilation points around your house, having them installed properly, and sometimes it's as simple as having a deciduous vine growing across across years and years ago when the English came here. Some of them worked out that you could run your wood stove all year round because you'd need it for bread anyway. So you run your stove constantly, and if it's summer, you open two windows each side of the stove in the middle with a hard wall behind it, small windows either side. And in summer, if you have a deciduous vine across the front of the house or the front of that room, you can open your doors and windows on that side, and the air will, because of the wood fire, the air will be drawn towards the wood fire and out those windows, and that cools your room down. And you
Mm,
simply, and then you just close the windows in winter to warm it up.
mm,
So, so there's lots of ways you can do things cheaper if you're able to build according to your needs, but
mm,
we don't get the chance to do that a lot of times.
mm.
Mm.
No, we've got a lot of regulations for new builds these days that,
Yes.
yeah, make it quite expensive and difficult.
What they consider 5-star environmental, I don't. They
Mm,
don't take into consideration the direction of the windows.
mm,
So many places don't have eaves. And I get that we're really small blocks, but how do they get a 5-star rating with no eaves?
mm. Well, well, it seems to be here you have to either have a token or two solar panel or a rainwater tank. So, of course,
Oh,
it's cheaper and easier to put in the rainwater tank. So, a lot of the new builders these days, new builds, sorry, have
yeah.
a rainwater tank here.
Mm.
It's really weird the way they work it out.
Yes,
I mean,
yeah.
I suppose they have a, excuse me, certain R factor for the insulation, I'm assuming.
Yes, yeah. And they're making insulation better. So, but for me, the shutters, the roller shutters, they just make a massive, massive difference.
Mm,
I mean, we're lucky we're in the country, we can build with straw bale, and it was a great project. Um, and we enjoyed doing it, and it saved us a lot of money. But other people can't do that. They don't have the time, or, and they've got to live in it straight away or something. So, yeah.
yeah, well, I know someone they used Hebel. Hebel, is it?
Yep.
Had yeah,
Hebel.
Hebel block?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, which has really high insulation factor as
Yeah,
well.
it's a form of aerated concrete
Mm.
sort of thing. Yes. Yeah, I always thought that would be good to look at too, but it would have been a lot more expensive for us to do
And
that.
the straw
And
bale, yeah.
yeah,
Well,
and
because
the
you were
other
able to
thing.
do a whole lot of that yourself, weren't you? The
Oh,
straw bale.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got photos of, Tony made massive needles. They would have been a couple of feet long, so we could sew a half a bale together, because you
Mm,
lay them out like bricks. So you've got that half, um, lots of things. So,
mm,
and of course, we already had a little house to live in, so we just did it each off season. Yeah.
mm,
So,
mm,
mm,
mm. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So it's meant to have an R factor of 10, which is good, which is why I can wear t-shirts up this end of the house.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
exactly.
mm,
Exactly. Well, where your dining room now, like that formal dining area, was that
mm.
around where your master bedroom originally would
It,
have been?
that's where we slept. Yes. That was actually an
Yes.
L-shaped lounge and dining,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
because it was a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom, the equivalent of a transportable, but built
Mm,
on site. And the two little bedrooms were so small, we couldn't get a queen bed in there. And other members of the family already had queen beds. So we changed, and we actually changed the floor plan there and shifted the front
mm,
door as well. So we slept in the front lounge room for 4 or 5 years, with
mm.
a
Okay. Yeah.
wardrobe and a pole with an old sheet over it to the
Yeah.
door.
Yep. Yep.